The B2FH paper on stellar nucleosynthesis, I think, is pseudoscience. Sorry, people. I've studied it. I think there's more reviewing of the paper to be done to show where everything is that went wrong inside of stellar evolution models and basic star science in general. I'm going to read this out to you. The people who wrote this paper I'm greatly interested in, simply because all four of them considered Big Bang to be pseudoscience. Yes, the people who invented the stellar evolution nucleosynthesis ideas to begin with also believed that the Big Bang was pseudoscience. So, really weird. It is very challenging to me now in realizing that not all people who do astronomy and astrophysics agree with each other. We are told via popular media that all astronomers are in agreement with ideas. But the truth is, they are not. Though it is strange how popular media wants us to believe that to be the case. The truth is, astronomers disagree with each other all over the place. But what happens is the popular one, the one that most astronomers agree with, get their hearing in the news and magazines and stuff. So basically you have to be a part of the little mob mentality of the popular ideas. If you're an astronomer that doesn't agree with the popular ideas, you don't get the spotlight. You get pushed off into a little corner as if you're some idiot. To begin, usually with the astrophysical papers, the authors make massive amounts of assumptions true, so they assume things to be true without any evidence. The trick is revealing to the reader where the assumptions are hiding. There are always assumptions inside of astrophysical papers. Here, I will point them out to the best of my ability. Now, I only have one assumption here, but it's pretty intense, so hang on to your pants. Assuming the isotope and elemental abundances in the universe are actually observed. Meaning, with this paper, they assume that because when you look at a star, you can actually see the elemental and isotope abundances. You can see all of the abundances. This paper assumes that. Little do they know, stars actually have interiors, and you can't observe them. So to say right off the bat that you can observe the elemental and isotope abundances is completely false. And I have here in parentheses, I'm going to go ahead and read this whole thing out. It shouldn't be a shocker to anybody that stars do not shine from their own light. Planets, as they are called, are ancient and do not have the ability to show their isotope and elemental abundances when viewed from telescopes as are younger stars. Unfortunately, establishment physicists do not consider planets as ancient stars, so the elemental and isotope abundances cannot accurately be accounted for inside of evolving galaxies. Given that ancient stars are much more solid material and contain a much greater composition of heavier elements than do supposed sun-like stars, the abundances are genuinely still up in the air and have never been accurately measured. The abundances were also assumed based off the preposition that the majority of a star's composition could be inferred from its spectrum. This is also faulty because young plasmatic stars can hide the heavier elements inside of them. Only the most singly ionized will appear in the spectrographs. What this means is that astronomers have assumed, without any evidence, that the majority of a star is based off of whatever they see in their spectrographs. Little do they know, they're just looking at the higher atmosphere of a star, and the most ionized are going to show up the strongest, hiding all the other elements. So basically, they have two main assumptions, 3, 4, 5, but the list is endless with this. Now, I go off on the very bottom. Here I say, this is the first major assumption to stellar nucleosynthesis, and as we can see, is not solid ground whatsoever towards the development of understanding stellar interiors or their actual structure and elemental abundances and isotope abundances. What we have here is the beginning of the end when it comes to studying stars. When you have people making ideas true without any evidence of it being true, and then you have a lot of other people latching onto those ideas, okay, what happens is you have groupthink. You have one person, or 4 people in this case, making what's called a groundbreaking paper. And what ends up happening is it's so groundbreaking, supposedly, and it makes so much sense to other people that they just latch onto it, and then they build other ideas on top of that. And over time, those ideas get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and all of a sudden you have an entire field of stellar astrophysics, or stellar physics, and how everything works, supposedly, but they never go back to the original paper and realize, wait, we messed up from the very beginning. And they had built off all those future papers off that wrong initial paper. So in other words, the entire field is incorrect. So more damaging is that you have all these wrong ideas still taught, yet these students that go to college, they don't realize that the history behind it is a lot different. The fact is, the majority of the ideas invented in the 1950s, 1960s concerning fusion were always wrong. They were always incorrect. They were never correct. And they always had wrong assumptions, because they never actually knew what happened to a star. They never knew that it actually just cooled and died and become what's called a planet. So basically, we have to start over again. We have to erase the blackboard and start over again from scratch. And a lot of people who work in astronomy and astrophysics, they're gonna be really, really mad about this. But there's nothing we can do now. They have to either A, realize that they've severely screwed up, or B, they'll continue spending billions of dollars in their supposed tritium, deuterium fusion model, whatever it is, when clearly it's never going to work. It doesn't work like that. Fusion is a lot different than what these models have predicted. So, I mean, you either admit your failures, or you continue down a dead-end path, wasting billions of dollars and building entire careers off false knowledge. It's up to you guys. I'm not the one spending this money. Alright. Oh yeah, today is March 25th, 2015.